Good evening. This is Defacto Review. We touched this week two issues. First, about the construction, building materials, quality issue. Second is about new mayor suggesting a new law to control traffic jam and air pollution. So these are two issues we will cover today. First, about this construction materials issue. Well, building materials, we mostly import 10,000 types of materials, building materials Mongolia imports, because we produce very little inside. But out of the main materials, cement and the construction building bar are being constructed inside of the country. It's the main components of constructions. But the remaining, almost everything, all paints, all windows, frames, all imported and assembled here in Mongolia. The last week there was a discussions where the state authorities, companies, everybody related to building materials import and construction companies were participated in these discussions. The main points of the discussions were first keeping the standard, following the standards of construction materials. There are 618 standards set in Mongolia in the construction industry, out of which 155 is about building materials. Those standards are to be controlled, monitored by the customs, according to the standard and the measurement authority of Mongolia, Mr. Ogam Bayar. And the materials are also monitored by three organizations. One is the Construction Development Center, the other is Construction Architecture Corporation, the third is Federation, Construction Development Federation, or United Federations. So these are three organizations which make certain evaluation of values, costs, prices there. And main concern is, for example, paints, that smell stay longer in the buildings, in particular school, children, kindergarten, etc. In these places, these are to be more restricted. This was a conversation from the points from the standard authority of Mongolia. Then there was another opinion by, there is a Construction Materials Suppliers Council. It's a non-government organization headed by Mr. Batsu, who said that it's hard to monitor the impact of health by the construction materials. And we have 10,000 types of materials, and we, according to him, that we no need to make on labs because we have convention which allows and it recognizes the labs of other countries on quality of building materials. But another view was by the standard authority head, who said that we need a strong lab, and one of them is now being built and opened in Zaminut at the border of railway and car road cross with China, Zaminut, Mongolian side, and the Iran, the Chinese side. Mongolians have now first-time lab for building materials there. But however, this NGO person says that we don't need to make their own lab. He said also that building materials are being imported by individuals or on an individual personal name, which allows them to avoid customs registration, which is giving them possibility to avoid quality control in particular. There is a part of Ulaanbaatar city where they call Zomai, where the private individuals sell building materials, where they don't give a guarantee to the quality of their products. So this kind of things are being made in terms of securing building materials safety in Mongolia. However, the most important mechanism is not being used here in Mongolia. I mean, the insurance system. Insurance makes quality of these products meeting the standards because in the process of construction, building, insurance companies are monitoring each process of construction, including the supply of construction materials, and in particular the way how it is being built. For example, for each floor, each pillar, each wall, each material being used, checked by the representative of the insurance company. So that means all buildings must have insurance. It's the only way to monitor properly all this quality. Today in Mongolia, former professional quality inspection agency is dismantled. Now each ministry has own monitoring system, a controlling system, including the construction and urban development ministry is supposed to control all this quality issues, quality of the building materials. So my point is, at the end, if insurance companies are involved properly, then we will have a less problem in terms of material quality, construction materials quality, which make our houses, places where we live, and where the real estate is supposed to be, the value is supposed to be increased with time, which is not the case in Mongolia. So this is about the first topic of our review today. As we have informed before, Ulaanbaatar city has now a new mayor, Mr. Nyambata. The previous mayor, Somaya Bazar, had resigned. So now new mayor is suggesting now a new law. In this law, there are substantial changes, and all these changes also will cause amendments of 26 other laws. So briefly, some of the amendments he's going to make it. New law is addressing two issues. One, air pollution of Ulaanbaatar city. Second, traffic control. Traffic jamming, very famous jamming, capital city of Ulaanbaatar. Why? Because capital city now has more population, very rapidly growing population, and people are coming from countryside and extending a so-called ger district where they bring their own ger, the national dwelling, and they are extending to such a state that it's very hard to cover them with infrastructure, related infrastructure of sanitation, etc. So today, 1.7 million, half of Mongolian population live in Ulaanbaatar city. 712,000 transportation means are in this city as well, and it makes a loss because the traffic jam economy has a loss according to the study made by JICA. We have $1.3 billion loss a year, which is almost 9% of the economy of the country. So it's a huge loss, meaning that so many people stay in the car that long that it causes this kind of a loss. And the average speed of Ulaanbaatar city traffic is around 8 kilometers per hour. And things if go in this way, in this speed, it will be only 5 kilometers per hour by 2030. Not a very good picture. The new mayor is trying to limit that Ulaanbaatar, the cars traffic, because it really Ulaanbaatar is extending the roads, but not to that degree that it can meet this substantial 2 times growth of the transportation means in Ulaanbaatar city. That's traffic-wise. The Ger district causes a lot of air pollution. 30% of air pollution is caused by these Ger districts, where around 412 households are in this city, 412,000 households in the city, and half of them are living in the Ger district, 200,000 of them. And total the stove pipes or chimneys, there's 163,000 of them, and the lantern is 145,000. So both together certainly contributes a lot to air and soil pollution in Ulaanbaatar city. So what the law is proposing, this is the state of the situation, but the law is suggesting, for example, it creates certain paid zone of traffic in Ulaanbaatar city. In the center and around business downtown, business center around, this will be the paid, the payment fee will be from 0 to 5% of the minimum salary in the country, which is estimated some 27,000, but nobody is saying that 27,000 will be paid because of going to that zone. But it is mostly estimated and raised as a big political issue inside of the parliament, for example. There will be fee for every entrance to this zone. Those who is living inside of the zone, they will have 90% discount on that fee, and all taxis will have licenses, and those licensed taxis will have 50% less payment for every entry to this zone. This is really one strong and long-awaited attempt to make more control of the transports coming to the city. Yet the opposition political parties say that it isn't, because almost all hospitals, for example, all services are inside of the zone. You cannot have all this high payment now, though the payment does not yet specify which amount. It is just shown the minimum and maximum limit of the payments. The other thing is about how to make free the land for construction. There are many lands the private owners don't want to sell, and one of the law amendments suggested if 65% of those residents agree they will move, then the 35% is ignored. So they will free the land, which is not that much in line with the so-called eminent domain in other countries, where the land is to be bought by the government at the market price immediately. If they don't agree with the price, or they say even much higher price, then it is to be solved at the court. That is a bit different than this. Is here like more democratic. 65% decides for 35%. So this is some cause. I think it will make a lot of debates. The other thing is they are increasing some special taxes. As turned out, 75% of Mongolian Ulaanbaatar city cars over 10 years old, which is quite a fact. So that's why if the transport is more than 10 years old, the annual fee will be 50% increase. The other thing is, if you import cars with less than 10 seats, with the customs value is over 250 million MNT, then the above 250 million MNT price will be a tax 30%, not 10%, which is up to 250 million MNT. Basically, it means that if you buy expensive cars for personal use, you pay now even more taxes than now. So this kind of changes are promised. It's just a part of, I mentioned just part of the many changes, totaling 26 laws. And many of those proposals just now I described are quite necessary steps. We should make it. But however, all this law will not bring all the order in this to field, unless the people who created the people who got corruption and who got made all this on the purpose almost, they should have a responsibility. And that's why at the same time with this law, just the new mayor has 20 days in the position, and there were several arrests already of including several people, including the former mayor of Ulaanbaatar city, Batbayar, arrested, and also former mayor Inkbol is being investigated. That's according to the media in the country, and And also the new mayor nominated Mr. Atun Jargal, who was the former Ulaanbaatar City Investigation Department, Criminal Investigation Department. He is now head of the traffic department of Ulaanbaatar City. And the new mayor was defending his nomination against all critics that why all the police are coming to the leading positions in the city. So he said that Mr. Tunjaral has quite experience. He almost knows all this land corruption issues due to his previous job. So hopefully there will be some light in terms of making more justice in this system. The new mayor is also going to decentralize the power of all the city mayor. It will be mostly shifted to the district mayors. Districts had districts governors. We have 8 of them in Ulaanbaatar City. Those will have more rights, except one thing. They will not give land, and the land will be given, the free lands or any land title will be given through competitive bidding, which will be approved by the city mayor himself. And some city procurement, including the buses, looks like, which caused a lot of problem recently. The procurement of Ulaanbaatar City will be partially shifted to Chamber of Commerce and Trade and Industry of Mongolia. So this kind of changes are being made. Plus, now the traffic trajectory will be different. The routes will be different. From Ulaanbaatar City, it's a very prolonged city, around 40 kilometers of wide. The people will be, public transport will work to the west end or east end of the Ulaanbaatar City. And in between them, there will be more frequently running public buses, which will make the system more understandable, more diverse. Otherwise, it was before from all the way from the west to the west end, all the way to the east end, the buses were running. Now it will be dividing into so that not many cars come into the center. So this kind of changes are being proposed now under this new law by the new mayor, and those measures are something what we were expecting. And now very hot debates going on each issue, on each amendments of each law at the parliament. So that's major things we expect, and we know that it is not easy time because the election is coming next year, and many are now more have a spirit of election rather than the issues we face. So these are 2 topics I covered today for you. First is about the not good quality of building materials imported to the country. Second, about what is the new mayors taking measures to tackle the 2 issues, pollution and the traffic jam. Thank you very much for watching the program. See you next time. Bye now.